What's up guys, back in today with another video on the channel, and today I'll be doing my votes for the Crunchyroll Anime of the Year Awards. A few disclaimers obviously before we start. I'm not really sure what qualifies an anime to be a contender for Anime of the Year, for example. From what I understand, I think Frieren is one of the nominees. I pretty much only know the nominees for Anime of the Year, the other ones I haven't actually looked at yet. I did see all of the nominees, and some of them were from 2023, so I think with Frieren being its oldest, any anime that ended in 2024, so shows like Solo Leveling Season 2 is not involved because that obviously came out in 2025, but I think Orb on the Movements of the Earth, although it started in 2024, it ended in 2025, so that's not eligible for this awards, but will be for next year's, so I think I've got that right. One thing I am questionable on is the fact that you can vote every day until April the 14th, which I won't be doing. I'll just just thought I'd give my opinion to you guys and cast some votes. See what, again, I don't know what's in any of the categories, so I'll see see what I found the best of the year. But yeah, I'm not sure why it is that you can vote up to what, 10 times. If any of you guys can help me out on that, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what I do pick. There's a lot of categories, and I'm probably not going to know everything, like the voice actors, for example. There's probably going to be a lot of roles in shows that I didn't watch, and so on. So yeah, just putting some disclaimers out there, and of course, as usual, it's just my opinion, so I'm not stating that this is any fact or anything. I know there'll be a few controversial ones in here, that is for sure, but we'll get right into it. Again, let me know what you guys think about this video and what you guys would pick down in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with any of my reactions to these shows. I probably would have watched a good amount on here. And let's get into, where do we start here? Should we start from the bottom? I think Anime of the Year is the first one on here, but kind of want to save that for last, I think. Yeah, we'll go in reverse order if I can pick. So yeah, we'll start with Best Voice Artist for a performance in Japanese. And like I said, they unfortunately don't have the names of the characters that the people are voicing here, which is a little annoying. I'm obviously familiar with Aoyuki is the voice actor for Mao Mao, for example. The others on here, I don't know who they voice, so I will just have to Google them. Okay, so after Googling pretty much all of them, except for Kenichi Suzumura, who, apologies, I have not seen. I haven't actually thought about who I'm voting for here, but just to tell you who they are, this is Mao Mao, Frieren, Momo, I think, is Shion, and then Okarun is Natsuki Hanae, and then Sakaya Senbongi is Marcel from Delicious in Dungeon, which is a bit surprising actually. I really like Marcel, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't have expected her to be up for this out of anyone from Dungeon Meshi, to be honest. Though, as I said, she is one of my favourite characters. Who I'm voting for is... It's a hard one, to be honest. I don't think I'll be voting for anyone from Dan to Dan. They did really, obviously everyone here is an awesome voice actor. I don't think I'll be voting for Marcel either, so for me it is between Frieren and Mao Mao. And they're both very distinct voices, aren't they? I feel like Frieren has got a very intriguing kind of tone to her voice and a kind of consistent level throughout, and it's just really fitting for the character. And though it might not be any kind of super emotional kind of parts, I feel like there's a lot of subtlety in the performance. It really is a tough one. I think I will go with Frieren, to be honest with you. Like I said, it's probably not what you usually think of like an outstanding performance, but in terms of how well it characterizes Frieren, I think that's probably my favorite from this list. And this probably won't be the first time Frieren is getting a vote. I did do a tier list of my anime from this year, and in general, I think as well. Last year, if you guys want to check that, I'll probably link it in the description, where this was my favorite anime from last year, which again might be a slight spoiler what does win Anime of the Year. Oh, I've actually got to submit some stuff here, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'll put my email in and we should be good to go from here on. Okay, next we've got voice artists in English, which I hadn't watched any. It'd be interesting to see who these people do play. But yeah, oh wow, so even Attack on Titan is eligible. That's really interesting, isn't it? Yeah, there might be a few surprises here. Like I said, I'm not going to bash Crunchyroll or who they've picked for any of this because again, I don't 100% know the eligibility criteria, to be honest with you. But yeah, we will be skipping this one. Like I said, I hadn't watched any dub anime last year. I mentioned this before, or do I have to pick one? It's not letting me progress. Well, I know Sarah Nato Cheney does the voice for for Ash Ketchum, so I'm just going to vote for her. Again, I don't think this vote will mean too much. Because I won't be doing it every day. Like I said, I feel it's a bit weird being able to vote 10 times before. Yeah, it's just not letting me progress in general. Hey, I guess we'll manually go through it. We'll go best ending sequence next. So for this, we've got Ranma Half, which again I haven't watched, so apologies. We've got Elusive Samurai, which I also haven't watched, so apologies about that one. But we have got Request here from Solo Leveling Season 1. We've got Burning from Oshinoko Season 2. Nobody from Kaiju Number 8. And finally, Tai Dada from Dandadan. Again, none of these I listened to an awful lot. If it was going to be any of them, I think it's probably between Dandadan and Oshinoko. Like, the songs aren't coming to my head initially. I definitely, the most recognizable one for me is the solo level ending. But I really did like the Kaiju Number 8 ending visually as well. That's the thing with this. I go a lot off the song. Like, the song is usually the biggest thing in an ending for me, but I know for a lot of people it's the visuals. If I'm gonna take into account both, probably would go Nobody then in that case. Like I said, I don't actually listen to any of these songs an awful lot. None of these would probably get in my list. So yeah. As we move on to best opening sequence, in which we got Abyss from Kaiju Number 8. I am much more familiar with the openings to these series, I think. Bling Bang Bang Born from Mashal, which again I haven't watched, so can't vote that one. I also haven't watched Us from One Piece, so I can't vote on that either. They got Fatale from Oshinoko, Level from Solo Leveling, and Otanoke from Dandadan. I think you can definitely tell what shows have got very strong soundtracks from the last two categories, can't you? Which one I'll be voting for here will probably be Fatale. Visually and sound wise, this is the one I watch and listen to the most and like the most. So yeah, gonna go Oshinoko. I'm also gonna try not to talk too much. I probably already am yapping a bit, but I'm probably gonna try not to talk too much about each of these votes, as sometimes these videos goes on for hours. So I'm gonna try not to talk too much about them. But yeah, I think Fatale is definitely the standout there for me. I really did like the visuals of Kaiju Number 8, which was interesting considering it's voted, considering it was actually quite controversial. I remember when it first came out, a lot of people weren't fans of the visual, but I was quite a big fan of what it done. It very much captured the series quite well, I think. Probably second here would be Tanoke from Dandadan. I love the soundtrack to Dandadan, but funnily enough, I listen much more to the OSTs for the series more than the opening and ending. I much prefer the kind of music in the episode. But we'll change to best score, which inevitably will have Dandadan. This is a tough one. I've seen all of these. We've got Bleach, Part 3. I assume that's Part 3. The Conflict. I think it is. Yeah, Dandadan, Bleach, Demon Slayer, Hashira Training, Free Year End, Solo Leveling, and Look Back. So this is not just the opening and ending. This is the soundtrack they played during the episodes and any kind of special music they do. Um, Again, the standouts here are Bleach and Dandadan for me. I really like the music in Freeren, but it's quite surprising the Freeren opening isn't wasn't in the opening category, considering that probably would have won that for me. I guess they can't have it for every category, even though it probably deserves it. Yeah, really tough one here between Bleach and Dandadan. I think I'm gonna go Dandadan. I think that was one of the biggest stands out of that series. Like the music in Bleach is always a massive standout. However, so not sure if this is gonna sound controversial. It shouldn't, but Bleach reused a lot of tracks, a bit like the recent remake of Silent Hill 2, where they kind of reused a lot of tracks, but just like edited them a little bit. And they've done the same for Bleach, and those tracks are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but just because Dandadan had a lot of new, and it was one of the biggest standout things of that show for me, I will go Dandadan. Like I said, that really could have gone either way. To be honest, that was a real tough one. To be honest with you guys, again, might be a controversial opinion here, although I'm not sure considering the reception it got. I'm not sure if Demon Slayer arc will be, the training arc will be voted for too much here, to be honest with you. It was definitely the weakest part of Demon Slayer so far. So it's actually a little surprising that that's in any category. Okay, best anime song in general. Again, is this not strange? The fact that Frieren is in the best anime song in general, yet not in any of the, not in best score or best opening and ending. Is that not a bit crazy? I will have to look that up because I'm not sure that is. I'm not sure what that is. So that's the first opening by Yaosobi Yusha, which means hero, right? Maybe not. I don't know. Again, that wouldn't have been the one I picked. I much prefer the second opening song-wise to Freerun, and I do feel like I'm hearing a lot of Yaosobi nowadays. Best anime song then. Yeah, this is weird. This is a weird category. Is it not? I'm just gonna go Fatal again, I think. It's a standout here for me. And we'll go next to Must Protect at All Costs character. Which is an interesting category. So here we got Anya Forger from Spy Family, Frieren, Senshi from Dungeon Meshi, Okarun from Dandadan, a character again I do not know unfortunately, Tokiyuki Hojo from Elusive Samurai. Sorry, I had to majorly zoom in there. And Yuki from A Sign of Affection. I've seen all of them except for Elusive Samurai, and I mean, if I'm being objective, it would be Anya Forger because she's a little girl. However, I'm not a massive fan of Spy Family. Ever since I heard some of the comments from the creator of the series about his characters, it kind of took away a lot of the magic of that show for me. So for me, this one is between Senshi and Yuki. I feel like both Okarun and Frieren are not. I don't really feel much need to protect them at all costs, if you know what I'm saying. With Senshi, he's like, yeah, I do just kind of feel that way about Senshi and Yuki. For two very different types of characters. It's a weird one to compare. I mean, the standard pick here would be Yuki, but I'm picking Senshi. I love Senshi. He was, again, one of my favourite parts of Dungeon Meshi. I'd probably say that about all the characters. I love the cast of the show. So yeah, I'll make sure my guys in Dungeon Meshi win something during these. And yeah, got Senshi winning that one. I'm not sure how popular a pick he'll be though. Next up, we've got Best Supporting Character, which is a big category. We got a couple here from couple from Frieren, couple from Dandadan. Now we've got Fern and Himmel. I always feel a bit bad for Stark. You know, is it? Yeah, I think it's Stark. The name again. You guys know I'm quite bad at names. I always feel quite bad because he's always getting left out. It's always when you're talking about like side characters in Frieren, you're always talking about Fern or Himmel. Never talking about another one of our companions, Stark. I guess I should feel the same about Eisen and Aita as well, but I don't feel as strongly. Interesting. So yeah, we've got Fern, Himmel, we've got Psycho and Turbo Granny, of all people. Yeah, again, that would probably be, she would probably be quite far away from a pick, even in just Dandadan, to be honest with you. I did like her backstory got at the start of the series, but yeah, kind of questionable inclusion. Also, it's questionable as Senshi here, to be honest with you. Like I said, I love Senshi a lot, but I can think of a few. Well, I can think of maybe one or two more characters I'd have in his place here. Marcel, I think would be here in his place, in my opinion. But and then we've got Jinchi from Apothecary Diaries, and as I said, Senshi. So this one is also quite difficult. Yeah, this one is also quite difficult. It's hard as well because Himmel brings that. It's not just him as a character. He brings about a really interesting, like, I mean, all of the past hero, like people that Frieren was journey with, bring a really interesting. That's one of my favorite parts about that show, is the fact that they bring out the past and see how she evolved the future. Like, they bring a really awesome like plot element that isn't just like directly tied to them into the series, if that makes sense. Whew. That's difficult, this one. I don't think I'm going to go for anyone from Dandadan or Jinchi. I think it is between Fern, again, funny enough, Senshi and Himmel for me. Like I said, I feel like if Marcel here, she might end up winning this. But this one's tough, actually. Again, it really could be any. I will go with Fern. Sorry, I'm taking so long over this. It's a hard category. Yeah, I think I will go with Fern. Yeah, very unique character. I'm gonna go with Fern. Yeah, from these, again, if I could say, like, if I had a look at who all the characters I watched are, I don't think any of these people would win that. So yeah, just leave you with that caveat. We'll then go to best main character, which is another big category. As my of course. Yeah, as my YouTube music stops playing. Yeah, best main character. We've got Frieren, Kafka from Kaiju Number 8, Momo from Dandadan. A lot of Dandadan. Yeah, Dandadan here twice. Dandadan is certainly getting a lot of love in the categories, aren't they? They've had a lot of doubles in each of them. Yeah, we've got Momo from Dandadan, Okarun from Dandadan, Mao Mao from Apothecary Diaries, and Sung Jinwoo from Solo Leveling. I think this one's pretty simple for me. I'm going to be going Mao Mao. I glaze her every episode of that show. I think she's fantastic. Genius character. Great writing. Yeah. Frieren is definitely up there as well, for sure. But Mao Mao is probably one of my favourite characters I've watched in anime in general. So yeah, she is going on the list. And we'll then move on to Slice of Life. It's funny that, isn't it? The side characters were so hard, and then the main character was pretty quick and easy. So yeah, Best slice of life. I haven't watched many of these, to be honest with you. So I haven't seen Laid Back Camp, nor Mr. Villain's Day Off, nor Sound Euphonium. Although I love a good Kyoto Animation anime, so I've probably got to check that series out at some point. I have seen Makaine. I've seen My Dear Friend Noko-tan, although I didn't fully finish it because it kind of grew a bit old on me. And then we got The Dangers in My Heart Season 2. To be fair, I do think Makaine probably is more slice of life. Like, it's definitely romance, but it has got a lot of slice of life in there. More so than Dangers in My Heart. I feel like Dangers in My Heart is almost kind of fully romance. I guess you can call any romance a slice of life, though. It's the confusing thing, isn't it? Yeah, weird category. So obviously it's between Makaine and Dangers in My Heart. I feel like I've got to choose Makaine just because it fits the category a lot better. I really like Dangers in My Heart. It was certainly one of my favourite romance anime I've seen in general, let alone last year. But same with Makaine again, really interesting premise. I just think this just fits the category a lot better. So yeah, I'm gonna go Makaine there. Nice to see that winning a vote as well. Then we've got Best Drama, which, like I said, probably could include romance as well. So yeah, these categories are a bit finicky, aren't they? Which we've got A Sign. Oh, I've seen all of these. Good. A Sign of Affection, Dead Demons DDDD Destruction, Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Oshinoko Season 2, Pluto, and the Apothecary Diaries. One thing also I do want to note that is awesome is the fact that we're seeing so many original seasons on here. Like Oshinoko Season 2 has popped up a few times, but for the most part, a lot of these anime have been newly released during 2024/2023, so I actually love seeing that. Another caveat is I've only seen 4 episodes of Dead Demons DDD Destruction, so that unfortunately won't be taken into account here. I'm kind of struggling getting through it, to be honest with you guys, as the subtitles are exactly how they are with Medalist, which recently aired, where they're not translating the Japanese, but they're using the dub of the English versions dialogue as subtitles over top of the Japanese, and it's just really confusing and makes your head spin. So I'm currently struggling getting through it, to be honest with you, even though I'm really enjoying the actual content of it. So that's a bit of a shame, because I think this would definitely be in contention. Well, it probably wouldn't, because Frieren and Apothecary Diaries in here, but I can tell it's a really good show. Just unfortunately ruined by lazy subtitles. So yeah, as I said, definitely between Frieren and Apothecary Diaries. Although Pluto and Oshinoko were both really good as well. I feel like Pluto lost me a bit at the end. And A Sign of Affection was just like, it was really good, but it wasn't at the level of these other anime, I don't think. I think it has just got to be Frieren. Although again, the Apothecary Diaries is very close. But yeah, Frieren, of course, wins that. I did say there'd probably be a few controversial opinions here. There's also going to be quite a few kind of very generic standard ones, just because sometimes anime are just that good. They just, even if you don't want to like them, it's not like that for Frieren. Again, I love Frieren, but even if you don't want to like Frieren, I feel like it'd be super hard to be like a hater of that show. Like you watch it wanting to hate it for like a few episodes, and you're like, oh shit, this is actually insane. And then people still hate on it online and stuff. Weird people they are, aren't they? But yeah, next we've got Best Isekai, which is interesting that ReZero, like I said in the intro, I thought that anime that continued into 2025, like Orb on the Movements, weren't qualified. So, like as I said, I've got no bloody idea what the qualification process is for any of this. There's like anime that started out in 2023 and anime that ended in 2025 involved in this. So, yeah, confusing, isn't it? But yeah, we've got Konosuba, Konosuba Season 3, Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Part 2, specifically. It would be a bit more cleared up if it said ReZero Season 3 Part 1, but it's part 1 and part 2 seemingly. They got Shangri-La Frontier season 2, which Suicide Squad Isekai, which I unfortunately didn't finish because I didn't like it too much, so that won't be winning anything. And that time I got Reincarnated as Slime, which I also dropped just because of the sheer amount of dialogue, which was a thing all throughout the show, but it seemed really unnecessary in season 3, which I know is an unpopular opinion with fans, but to me there was a lot of very unnecessary dialogue. So this one is actually quite hard between Mushoku Tensei season 2 part 2 and ReZero. This one's really hard actually, because the second part of that season specifically was really good. The first part wasn't nearly as good as the second in my opinion, so they've just made my job harder here. But yeah, it's clearly between ReZero and Mushoku Tensei. It's one of those things. If it was just ReZero part 1, it probably would go to Mushoku Tensei, but if we're adding in part 2 with all the payoffs and amazing animation that we saw, and yeah, and like I really have a soft spot in my heart for ReZero as well. It's got a nostalgia kind of factor for me, as pretty much when I started watching anime was when ReZero came out, and I think I will be voting for it. Again, this one's really tough as well, but yeah, that's a shame. I'd love to vote for Mushoku Tensei, but as well as maybe tomorrow I can. Like I said, is it not weird that you can vote so many times? I feel like you should just be able to vote once. But yeah, we'll move on to Best Action, where we've got Bleach, which I think a lot of the fans will be very happy about, because recently, well, not so recently, but after last year was said and done, you really didn't see too much of Bleach in like weekly kind of trending discussions or polls or popularity rankings like this. Again, I'll spoil something here quickly. It's not involved in the anime of the year, and the fans are not happy about that. And like I said, you just you don't actually see it too much in stuff like this. And I think a reason that is it's kind of that One Piece problem, where there's such a barrier to entry of 300, 400 episodes before you actually get to the new seasons. You're not going to see a bunch of new fans like just pick up like something like Dan Dan, which just started, for example. That's obviously not going to be anywhere near as popular because you can't just pick it up and have fun. Well, you maybe could, but you wouldn't understand a hell of a lot. But yeah, again, good to see it here. And honestly, it's a contender here, considering the nominees are Bleach, Dan Dan, Demon Slayer season 4, which is again so questionable how that's involved here. Kaiju number 8, Solo Leveling, and Windbreaker, which I just watched the first episode of season 2 today. Yes, between Bleach and Dan Dan for me here, for sure. Although Kaiju number 8 was good, I don't think it was quite the level of these two. That probably would be third up on the list for me. Tough one. Tough one. Oof. I think I'm going to go Dan Dan, because it had a real standout segment with the ballerina. Again, the names and stuff is terrible, so apologies, but with the middle storyline with I forget her name, but the pink-haired girl, I loved that, and that was really powerful. And I feel like action shows that can give you that. Bleach certainly can do that. It hasn't so far. It didn't in this part so far, although the consistency in the fights really makes it hard, because they're all awesome. All of the new characters really stood out. The Sternritters, I think they're called. They all really stood out this season. Love the backstory bits we got, and it's hard not voting for it here, to be honest with you. But I think if I'm going consistency, I'd go Bleach. If I'm going the peaks of it, I would go Dan to Dan, I think. So yeah, I will vote Dan to Dan. As we get to best comedy, which we have, oh, this one's easy. We have Delicious in Dungeon, Konosuba, Mashle, which again I haven't watched, My Dear Friend Nokotan, Ranma Half, and Spy Family. And easy, Delicious Dungeon. Probably they made me laugh more than all of these shows put together, to be honest with you. Loved it. Yep, quick one there. As we move on to best romance. Oh really? Okay, so we got A Sign of Affection, Blue Box, Makaine, Ranma Half, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which I haven't seen. I watched the movie, and I really liked the movie. I watched that movie when I was really young. I wouldn't say I had an obsession with it, but I've probably watched that movie at least 10 times. And then we've got The Dangers in My Heart Season 2. So that's a shame I haven't watched that, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting that to be here. Really interesting. Okay. To be honest, I also didn't know that was by Science Saru, so I've probably got to check that out. But yeah, wait for that for a minute. I wasn't a massive fan of Blue Box, so that will not be winning. I haven't watched Ranma Half, so it is. And like I said with the slice of life stuff, I feel like Makaine probably fits the romance genre a little bit less than Sign of Affection and Dangers in My Heart. And I will be going Dangers in My Heart Season 2 because I think I think I definitely prefer this than Sign of Affection. Although I did like Sign of Affection, I just had a bit more attachment to the characters. Probably because we had more episodes as well, but just had a bit more attachment to the characters and their progression in Dangers in My Heart. So I think that's quite a simple one. Though again, quality wise, Makaine is probably closer to Dangers in My Heart. It just yeah. I mean, if we're going by the categories, then I think Dangers in My Heart wins that for sure. Let's have a little sip. Hopefully I'm not doing too badly time wise. I'm more than halfway through now. Oh yeah, we're doing quite well actually. Should come out to about an hour. Doing quite well. Usually I'm like an hour in by now. Okay, best background art, which is also an interesting category and not something I can like truly give my opinion on off the top of my head. But I could try. Like background art. When like the whole yeah, I'm wording it horribly, but the whole like it's in the background. If you know what I'm saying, it's not at the forefront of your mind. It's not the first thing you think of when I think of an anime. When I think of Frieren, I don't think of the background art. Although it is also a massive part of any story. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, take this one definitely with a pinch of salt. Dan to Dan, Delicious in Dungeon, Demon Slayer, Frieren, Pluto, and the Apothecary Diaries. I'm just going to go based off like setting here. And I'm going to go either Apothecary Diaries or Frieren because they had some really interesting and unique backgrounds and settings. I'll go Frieren, I guess. Like I said, I don't really know. I can't actually like really give too much of an opinion on that one. Best Director, which is an interesting category as well because it accumulates a lot of things directing, doesn't it? I can't ever say you're really sure of like a job a director's done, if you know what I'm saying. Like, yes, you can tell if someone's well directed or badly directed, but you can't unless you specifically see like behind the scenes stuff and so on. It's kind of hard to rank, I guess. But yeah, we got Dan to Dan. Again, Demon Slayer season 4. Wade, I think even Demon Slayer, like major fans will tell you, like this has been in way too many categories. Frieren, the One Piece fan letter, first time I'm seeing that. The Apothecary Diaries and Dungeon Meshi. So again, like what comes under the directing? action sequences, the timing of like that's the thing. Like I imagine directing a lot of the stuff is like choosing what to cut and what to keep from the manga and such. And I'm not a source material reader, so I've got no idea about that aspect. I've got no idea how the director. I mean, I guess like he directs the voice actors to do certain things and such. Like it's, I think it's harder to rank directors in anime than it is in live action movies. Is maybe what I'm trying to say here. In terms of like, I'm just thinking like action set pieces and interesting shots and perspectives, and I think it's got to go to Frieren in that case. Although I think a close second would be Dungeon Meshi for me. Because Dungeon Meshi Studio Trigger is awesome. Oh, or is it Frieren? I might have just twisted my opinion on that now. Yeah, you know what? We'll give that to Dungeon Meshi. Like I said, it's got a lot of really interesting, not just goings on during each episode, but perspectives and shots, and just visually wise looks really like, obviously Frieren looks amazing as well, but it's got a lot of really intriguing things going on visually. So, like I said, take this one with a pinch of salt as well, because I'm not 100% sure what I'm voting for there. As we move on to best character design, and we got the usual suspects. It seems like these, yeah. We got Dan to Dan, Delicious in Dungeon, Demon Slayer again, Frieren, Kaju number 8, and the Apothecary Diaries. For character design, this one is also quite difficult. See, the thing I'm thinking about here is, and I think what I'm going to judge it is like the amount of good character designs. Shows like Frieren have some really awesome character designs, and the Apothecary Diaries as well, but their cast isn't quite as like. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've got a large cast, but there's not as many real kind of show-stopping designs, like comparing the main characters to the side characters. Whereas I think in like Dan, for example, even like most side characters, like just some random girls in the class, for example, even have like really awesome designs. So this one is very much a toss-up between Dan and Delicious in Dungeon for me. I like the designs in Kaji number 8 as well, but I think they actually look better in the movie that's coming out than they did in that initial season. They don't stand out quite as much as they did in the source material, which again I haven't read, but I've seen pictures of. So yeah, Delicious in Dungeon or Dandadan. And the thing is as well, like when we say character design, are we talking about like the dragon, like Farlin from Delicious in Dungeon, and like the yokai for Dandadan? Because I think the monsters and so on in Delicious and Dungeon are better, but I think the human designs in Dandadan are better. So this one is also quite a bit of a toss-up, actually. And I love the transformative sequences in Delicious and Dungeon. And the morphing, and yeah, I'm going to go Delicious and Dungeon here. They do a lot of really fun things with the designs of the characters. I'm not sure this would come under the category, but they like, slight spoiler here if you haven't seen it, there's like an episode where they each have different versions of themselves, like slightly different versions of how other people in the group see them. So they've all got like 3 versions of themselves, which is from each of their perspectives and stuff like that. It's just like really creative and awesome. So I think I've got to give it to Dungeon Meshi with that one. Yeah, that's a tough category that one is, but yeah, I think Dungeon Meshi for sure. Best animation, which is going to be another tough category, isn't it? Because all of these looked awesome. Dandadan, Dungeon Meshi. I'm pretty sure this is almost exactly the same as the last one, right? Demon Slayer, Frieren, College number 8, and Solo Leveling. Um, I think I might go Delicious in Dungeon again. The thing is, I think both Freer and almost all of these shows probably have flashier animation than Dungeon Meshi, but again, creativity wise, and again the regeneration sequences and such, like there's some really awesome regeneration sequences and so on in Freer as well. This is a tough category. This one is. Wow. Again, I'm not sure why Demon Slayer's here. Like, yes, it's always got great animation, but it didn't really show it off as much as it usually does. Like, it really just feels like they're just trying to like, like here you are, vote for it. We put it here. It just feels like they're shoving it in here for. I kind of wonder what the votes are going to be like for Demon Slayer. I'll be worried if you're a big fan. It's so hard. This one is between Dan Dungeon Meshi, and Freer for me. Even Solo Leveling has really good animation. It's just unfortunately that kind of all these shows have also got really good stories and characters as well, whereas Solo Leveling doesn't impact me as much because the story and characters don't have as much of an impact on me. So inevitably the animation hits a bit less. Even though I can still appreciate it, looks fantastic. I think my YouTube stopped playing. Okay. This is so tough. This is so tough because they're all different styles as well. Not even like you can really directly kind of compare them. I think the most comparable would be Dan to Delicious and Dungeon. I think they've got similar styles, similar creative styles, but Freerun is just like class as well. Just remembering that fight at the end, like holy shit. And I think it's got a win on that regard. Like these two probably a bit more creative with the animation, but some of the set pieces and fights in Freerun blew me away. So yeah, Freerun it is. I go off that a lot, to be honest with you. I think you can probably tell a lot of the votes and a lot of my favorite anime in general and moments are emotionally impactful moments, like not just impactful in the fight, but having a story tied to that and characters really kind of tied to that. They're usually like you usually find emotional responses I give are my favorite bits of that and so on. Didn't word that very well, but yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the next category. We're reaching the end now. I haven't seen many of these. We've got Buchigiri, Girls Band Cry, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, Metallic Rouge, Ninja Kamui, and Train to the End of the World. So, I haven't seen Buchigiri nor Girls Band Cry, which I've heard is really good. I saw an interesting clip of it as well, you know. I'm not sure if it was CGI, but it looked really strange. But again, I've heard really good things about it, so this anime has interested me a lot. I didn't watch Ninja Kamui. I heard it sucked after the first few episodes. Like I heard a lot of hype for the first couple episodes. I was going to check out, and then I heard the rest of it absolutely sucked. So, yeah, not going to check that out. I don't think. So for me, this one is between Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night and Train to the End of the World. I did watch Metallic Rouge, but I dropped it a few episodes in just because it was I couldn't understand anything going on. That might be a me thing, I don't know. But this one I think does go to Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. I really enjoyed the show. I feel like it didn't end that strongly is the unfortunate thing. Although I feel the same with Train to the End of the World. I didn't massively enjoy the ending to that either. And overall enjoyment wise, I think Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night probably wins. But yeah, those first like 8, 9, 10 episodes were fantastic. Unfortunately, you can't watch the reaction to it on YouTube because people behind it take my videos down. Copyright struck me. So yeah, you can't view those, fortunately. But so I've got a little bit of a grudge against the series. Even with that factored in, I think it was the best here from what I've seen. So, and yeah, it's just the last couple episodes I wasn't a massive fan of, but the rest of it I really enjoyed. As we move on to best new series, as I said earlier, I loved the fact that we saw so many new series throughout all of these categories. It wasn't just like season 2, 3, or whatever of some of whatever it is. And I think it's just got to go freer end. As I said, I've done a tier list earlier on this year, near January, I think, where I did have my favourite anime, and Frieren, Delicious in Dungeon, and the Polar Diaries were all at the top, and Frieren took the cake, and I still feel that way, even though, again, I love Dungeon Meshi and Polar Diaries. I really like Dan to Dan and Kaji number 8, and Solo Leveling's alright. Yeah, I feel like it's just Frieren, isn't it? As we move on to best continuing series, which is probably going to be a bit more interesting, actually. As we got Bleach, Demon Slayer Season 4, which, again, questionable. My Hero Academia Season 7, One Piece, which I'm about 600, 700 episodes through, so I'm not caught up at all, so I can't give my opinion on that. Oshinoko Season 2 and Spy Family Season 2. And I think this one is pretty simply just Bleach. Big fan of My Hero Academia Season 6 and 7. Very underrated in my opinion. I think because Season 5 was so bad, it really got a bad rap at that time, and people didn't even bother checking out Season 6 and 7 and just badmouth it without watching it. They've actually been probably the 2 best seasons of the show so far, so definitely check out if you did drop it at like Season 5 or 4 or whenever. But yeah, these last couple of seasons have been amazing. Season 7 was fantastic, so that is definitely a contender. But and Oshinoko as well. You guys know I really like Oshinoko. I just don't think either were quite as strong as Bleach. So locking that one in. As we then go to Film of the Year, which I think is going to be simple for me because I've only seen 2 of these, which are Haikyuu, The Dumpster Battle, and Look Back, which is getting the vote. We've got this Mononoke movie, which I'm really interested in watching actually, because I've heard really good things. I think there's a couple seasons before this that I need to check out if I do want to watch these movies, because I think there's another movie coming as well. But they look really intriguing and different style-wise, and I'm a massive horror fan, so I think I'd like these quite a lot, so I need to get on that. I didn't watch the My Hero Academia movies because I haven't watched any of the recent My Hero Academia movies, to be honest, because although some people say they're canon, I don't actually think they're that important. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of just like, it's not the fact that it is filler is the thing, and knowing that it's filler is the worst part. Like when I started out watching anime, I would just watch filler because I didn't know I was watching filler, and sometimes it'd end up being really good, sometimes it'd end up being quite boring and bad. But knowing that what you're watching is pointless just makes things worse, if that makes sense. It shouldn't, but it does. I haven't seen Code White. Like I said, I kind of dropped Spy Family, to be honest, after finding it a lot less charming than I initially did. And I haven't seen The Colours Within either. I've not even heard anyone talk about this, so got to try and check that out. Science Saru again, having a big year. Yeah, this one is just Look Back, isn't it? Loved it. Haikyuu was a good movie, but I think Look Back was again one of those special movies that really kind of touches you, a lot of emotion. And we've made it to the anticlimactic anime of the year. As you guys know, and as I've said throughout, it is just Frieren, isn't it? All really strong anime. I feel like perhaps Kaji number 8 and Solo Leveling could have been replaced by a few other anime for me personally. There's probably a few that I would rather put up here, but really strong list nevertheless. And yeah, Frieren takes the final vote. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Again, I got through that quite a bit faster than I could ever hope. You guys know with my tier list and stuff, sometimes I'm rambling for like 2 hours, so I've done a good job here of not going off topic too much. Again though, do let me know, you guys, know what you'd vote for a lot of these categories. As I said, these are just my opinions. A lot of you guys wouldn't agree with a lot of these opinions, of course. Again, especially shows like Solo Leveling, which I'm not as big of a fan of as seemingly the whole world. Probably going to differ on quite a few. So again, let me know what your guys' opinions of these are down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of the oh, they had little information bits which I could have read, but is what it is. Yeah, again, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy this video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with any of my reactions. As I did say, pretty much all of these I've watched on the channel. There's a few here and there that again have been kind of taken down for copyright and such, so apologies about that, but all of the 90% of the anime that came up on these votes you'll be able to see my reactions to. So again, thank you guys very much for watching, and have a good rest of your day.